Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Before and After Thoughts with yours truly, as always, Queen Krazy K. Do me a favor, be sure to like, and if you ain't gonna like, that's totally free. Subscribe to Queen Krazy K on my YouTube channel. It'd be really appreciated to watch this and more podcasts like it. And with that being said, follow me on that Instagram. You already know Queen Krazy K. Like I always say, let's jump into here because we got a lot of things to cover. As always, a lot of things that happen, and I'm gonna cover all that Raw SmackDown, just the behind the scenes, Hell in a Cell, all that good things on his channel. So first, we're gonna talk about not this past Monday Night Raw wrestling, but a week ago Monday Night Raw wrestling. We're talking about that first. So they had Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, the reigning, defended, longest reigning Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, who made history, and they were to brawl with Sami Zayn that helped them out over the line, but they were to have a brawl fight with Matt Riddle and the Street Profits, which is why Matt Riddle and the Street Profits were to beat them in a six-man tag team match. And then you got Alexa Bliss maybe going crazy and back into the zone with Lily, but she did get 4-0, been undefeated since she returned back to Monday Night Raw. And then also, that happened on top of that, you had Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now, I remind you, this is before Hell in a Cell. So, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes brawling, having a fight, having just right through the bite area. Kind of like how with Bobby Lashley and MPB and Omos also went through the bite area over on the camera side over here. And their brawl fight before Hell in a Cell after the betrayal and Omos lost at WrestleMania. They've been messing with Bobby Lashley ever since. As you guys know that. And then it were to bring you the EST or Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair getting the witness how Becky Lynch got her way into the triple threat, but her and Asuka was working together. As you can see, they rather have one each other win than Becky Lynch. So she got to watch at ringside that match, and that happened right in front of her. And then you had the Bullet Club, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan get revenge on not Edge, but got revenge on Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley for attacking them the week before, which was 2 weeks ago now. As far as the Bullet Club, when it's going into a mixed tag team match inside of the Hell in a Cell. And then after that were all set and done, that would cover your Monday Night Raw wrestling results, including United States Champion Theory assaulting Ali, who picked up the win, but Tommaso keeps attacking him, and then Theory were to attack him once more before the show ended. So that were to cover up Monday Night Raw wrestling. If you missed it on the USA Network or Peacock, and the WWE Network is coming back soon. I don't know when, but it says it's coming back soon, so watch it on there. And then also, when you watch it, that Azeka, Elias, Azeka, whichever one he wants to be, won a six-man tag team match against the Alpha and Kevin Owens. So that had to feel good for him after all the crap he's been putting him through with this lie tech test and all that other crap that he's been doing since he's shaved his beard off, came in as Azeka, Elias, whatever, and all that. And then you got to watch the WWE exclusive interview when you got to see Kevin Owens and Becky Lynch making a valuable point about the situation. And then you got the theme, if you watch the bump, which I'm sure most people do because I be in the chat and stuff, so I know. But if you were to watch that, then you saw on the bump, this was the last one that Corbin was on. And then you had not only Corbin on the last bump, he had Alexa Bliss on there, and her doll Lily. They have to also introduce talking about how since she's been back, she's been undefeated. Corbin and Moose, since they're not working together, no longer a tag team, that they've been brawling, and he was pretty glad with himself for assaulting him, trying to end his career. And then you saw Friday Night SmackDown wrestling where Moose was completely comfortable with himself, turning the tables and assaulting Barry Corbin. What goes around comes around, and he got what he deserved. Made him sad, Corbin. And with that being said, now I didn't like how Adam Pearce wants to go out there and stop the attack from Moose on Barry Corbin, because where was he when Barry Corbin was assaulting Moose? So why are you going to stop Moose from doing the same exact treatment, getting his revenge on Barry Corbin? That's kind of messed up, and that really shows your favoritism and what kind of boss you really are, that you don't play fair when it comes to opportunity to land a SmackDown opportunity. So when you want, like we said, where were you at when he was getting attacked? So don't come out here now that Moose has only given taste of his own medicine to Corbin, who tried to end his career. Anyways, with the rest of that were happy. You saw a six-pack challenge. Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship belt will defend it against the winner of the six-pack challenge. It had Natalya and Shayna Baszler that worked together, and Aaliyah in there, Gonzalez in there. SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey at ringside witness, as we all knew, Shayna Baszler and Natalya helping each other out, that it is Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship opportunity against Ronda Rousey, her former trainer into the WWE, her former tag team partner, and her former best friend, that Ronda Rousey is ready to throw down with anybody, not planning on losing that SmackDown Women's Championship, even if it is Natalya, who she started out with, training her, and, when they were friends a year ago, when the camera went around. Actually, that had been 2 years ago now, when she came into the WWE, as far as that goes. And then you also had not only Moose, getting his revenge on Corbin. Then you also watched, it was like the Usos and Sami Zayn, right? And he helped them out when he played the music before, but the Usos walked in and out Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions against Riddle, who was a one-man band because Shinsuke went out with an injury, was not able to help him out. But I mean, you got to give it the props to Riddle. He gave us strength. He gave a fight. He was doing a 2-on-1, and I mean, he was doing a pretty damn good job too. But the ones, the bloodline, keep the needle movement. Usos walked out champions. When it comes to champions, they always come out on top, as you can see. That's why they're dominant. That's why they're undefeated. That's why they're still champions and the greatest champions in WWE history. And with that being said, that would pretty much cover. I mean, Aaliyah and Shanti seem to have this game going on. Like, Aaliyah got revenge because Shanti tried to lock her in the locker room and missed her opportunity because Aaliyah played the prank on her, and obviously Shanti made a mistake, got her butt kicked. Nobody else thought that was funny, but it was funny when she got her ass whooped. Now that was funny. Then you were to watch the rest of that. I think that pretty much is, then I think that Ricochet, Intercontinental Champion, he's a remaining Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown, as well as theories of fighting remaining United States Champion on Monday Night Raw. And that would cover Monday Night Raw, that would cover Friday Night SmackDown, that would cover The Bump, The Exclusive, all that good things, the Raw Talk as well, and all the good things. Then you had Hell in a Cell come along. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, Pector muscle torn, but still went in there and won against Seth Rollins out of the Hell in a Cell match, despite him having an injury. You can tell my shoulder and stuff, it's all purple, all bruised, and all messed up, and it looks really bad. But with a torn pectoral muscle off his shoulder, Cody Rhodes went in there as American Nightmare, who should be called American Hero, defeating Seth Rollins inside of a Hell in a Cell match, did as a third generation superstar. And then also on top of there, the Judgment Day were to get a victory over mixed tag team match against the Bullet Club. Theory remained the United States champion against Ali. Ali's only getting what he used to do with Retribution in my book, with all the attacks and assaults and stuff. I mean, he used to do the same thing when he came with Retribution. So I mean, there is just showing him the other end of the stick, it seems like, on that part. And then you also had the quickest, the roughest, the toughest, the strongest, the BEST Raw Women's Champion remaining Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch and Asuka, who she beat at WrestleMania, who she beat on Monday Night Raw, and I told you that was going to happen, and nobody was going to take that on, no matter how many, because Becky Lynch already lost at WrestleMania, and she lost the match to be in there, so she shouldn't even got another opportunity. And as far as Asuka goes, you just got here. You haven't done any type of work to earn a championship opportunity. With that being said, Bianca Belair gave the respect, gave the props up to Becky and Asuka and the WWE exclusive when you saw it, but she is the Raw Women's Champion remaining, no matter who it is or what kind of talent or strengths that Becky Lynch may have as part of the Four Horsewomen, for former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, with Asuka, former Raw Women's Champion. They ain't got nothing on Bianca Belair, who's been dominated since she's came into the WWE. She was dominated before that on NXT, but she's even more dominated, as she's an undefeated Raw Women's Champion, and able to get over every barricade anybody's ever thrown at her. That's why she is. When it's Monday Night Raw, it's EST, Monday Night Raw night. Be like, oh, Monday Night Raw. You'd be like, it must be Monday, because tonight's Monday Night Raw. It must be Monday, because Monday Night Raw, EST, Raw Women's Champion, is on. She's the face of the company. Just like when you watch SmackDown, Universal Champion Roman Reigns is the face of the company. Undefeated Universal Champion. No one's been there again for 2.5 years. So, with that being said, the rest of Hell in a Cell now, you had Bobby Lashley be able to beat MPV and Omos in a 2-on-1, who he beat at WrestleMania, been giving him crap since then, and who betrayed him. And then Cedric, who, since Benjamin got injured, has been sticking his nose in Bobby Lashley's business, but this time he helped Bobby Lashley get the job done instead of actually going against him, like kind of like he wants to be like Bobby Lashley and Cedric versus MPV and Omos, kind of like a tag team thing. You know, he was a part of the Hurt Business in this former tag team, so that wasn't surprising him actually helping him this time instead of going against him. Because it showed the betrayal and also showed the tag teamship. It also showed that, hey, you know what? This is my team before it was my enemy. And then with the rest of that on Hell in a Cell, like I said, you had Cody Rhodes. It was against Seth Rollins, and one with, you know, an injury like that, and you go in there and win. You are American Hero / Nightmare. Third generation. It's not surprising. And then you had, you know, be like, oh, I wanted the mixed tag team Bullet Club to win, but it didn't happen against what was the Nightmare, the Structure, what was adding a new member now to their group. Now they've been dominated since they formed the group together against Judgment Day. And Theory's been undefeated United States champion. I mean, he's been working the youngest United States champion in a fighting, and still gets the job done, United States champion. And then Bobby Lashley only got MPV for betraying him, and almost like just like he beat him at WrestleMania, he beat him at Hell in a Cell. Cedric had his back that night instead of being against him. Was like, you know what? At the end of the day, you were my teammate before you were my enemy, so I I gotta really show my true colors, and he did that. In the EST, Raw Women's Champion, a fighting Raw Women's Champion, a dominant Raw Women's Champion. She is who she says she is. EST, BEST, WWE, and she is. That's not just a saying, that's facts. They had Kevin Owens, who beat Azeka, who released, lies in their match, proving, hey, you know what, he lied because I beat him, and that's kind of what it was. Like, Kevin Owens went right through him, no matter if he's Azeka or Elias. KO was not having it at Hell in a Cell. And that would wrap that up as far as that went for Hell in a Cell. If you registered on Peacock, missed it live to get your tickets there. You had and then you had Moose from SmackDown defeat Corbin in an official match since their brawl fights instead of so they decided they weren't being a tag team anymore or working as a team anymore. So that would have covered the Monday Night Raw crew do Hell in a Cell, just like the Monday Night Raw crew got to do Monday Night Raw, and then you saw SmackDown crew do SmackDown. But then you saw the kickoff with Jerry King Lawler and Big T, and the bump Bianca Belair was on there. And then you saw the exclusive and Raw Talk with Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens. And then you saw after that, this past exclusive was Asuka and Bobby Lashley, that Asuka enjoys playing mind games with Becky Lynch as she made her fail to become 24 champion against Dana Brooks, and how Bobby Lashley is ready to become the next United States champion once again, this time against Theory, who he made a statement on him. And then MPV, like almost, he beat Cedric for sticking his nose where it didn't belong, and MPV by the Dirty Dogs got kicked in the crowd, so they might have a tag team match maybe coming up. And then Seth Rollins just did a horrible attack on Cody Rhodes. I mean, he was already injured. He respected him, said all these wonderful things about him and his family and generation, and just totally just went haywire and assaulted him. And now the question is, what condition is Cody Rhodes' shoulder in now, as far as it was already injured? And he still went to Hell in a Cell match and then got a heinous attack on him on Raw after that. So that it was vicious. It was degrading. It was like, now everybody's worried, like, will he be out for a while now because he's too injured, or will he be able to pull through? I think because he was already injured, that Cody Rhodes may not be wrestling for a few weeks or more, because he was already injured. You can see the damage on it, and then Hell in a Cell, who knows what that did. And then just because he was standing talking in the ring doesn't mean he was 100%. So now the question is, what's the condition of his shoulder, and what does that mean now for him, as far as, does he have to sit out for a while, or will he be able to just have an attack? I think that he'll have to sit out maybe a while, because he needs to heal, and then maybe him and Seth Rollins will have like a Money in the Bank match, since Seth Rollins isn't done with them. And that situation. So jumping guns here. Then it was Kevin Owens out there against Azeka. Azeka beat the Academy Otis in a match and stunned Kevin Owens to make up for happening at Hell in a Cell. And then the new member, now not a new member, it was a replacement, the new leader, Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, attacking Edge, who was the new Bullet Club Judgment Day of Monday Night Raw. And Bianca Belair, a Raw Women's Champion, was at ringside and saw it was Alexa Bliss, who's been undefeated since she came to Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan, who always comes so close but can never exactly get the punchline, and Rhea Ripley, the Nightmare, as you can see on her Judgment Day team, just her by herself is the Nightmare. And once it was all said and done, I think it was a fatal four-way match. Because you had Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss. And then you had Doudrop, who's had Doudrop's been beaten on multiple occasions from Bianca Belair already. And Liv Morgan couldn't get the job done against Becky Lynch, which Bianca Belair beat Becky Lynch, so she technically beat her too. And then Alexa Bliss, I don't think she's tangled with Bianca Belair yet. But Bianca Belair, Raw Women's Champion at Money in the Bank, will defend her title against Rhea Ripley, who won the Fatal 5-Way match, as far as that goes. And the Street Profits want the smoke. They want the Usos for the Raw Tag Team Championship belt, probably at Money in the Bank. Like I said, it was Monday Night Raw that did Hell in a Cell, and then it was Hall of Famers and Legendaries like Booker T and Jared King that got to do the kickoff, and then it was Kayla, the interviewers, that got to do the bump with Bianca Belair after the WWE exclusive and Raw Talk, Kevin Owens and Becky Lynch, and then it was Bobby Lashley and Asuka this time a WWE exclusive, and so it's like, oh, we watched Monday Night Raw and their crew, and then we watched SmackDown and their crew, and then we watched the bump from the interviewers, and then you watch the WWE exclusive and Raw Talk after Monday Night Raw this past one, just like you'll see Smack of the Down Talk and this coming Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling crew. But the thing was, even though it was a SmackDown match that was in there, Raw got to do the podcast of Hell in a Cell. So now, what would only be fair, even though there's Raw, and I think there's going to be Raw because it's Money in the Bank and SmackDown in there, it would only be fair that I think they're going to do like what they did at WrestleMania when both of them was there, and at Backlash when both of them was there. Just switch off depending on the match or the commentary. Like Raw and SmackDown got to both do WrestleMania 1 and 2, and then Raw got the, Raw got to kick it off, so SmackDown got to do the main event. And then so it would be, and then Raw and SmackDown both got to do their matches, and it was the equal amount of matches and people from each brand on the Backlash. And then both of them, you had Monday Night Raw and Raw Talk, and then you had Friday Night SmackDown, SmackDown Down Talk. You had their own show and their podcast and the exclusive and the interviews and the bump that was totally different than the Monday Night Raw doing Hell in a Cell and Monday Night Raw that passed. Just like you'll see Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling do that, and they're showing their podcast on there and the exclusive. But the only difference is that I think they'll do Raw and SmackDown for Money in the Bank July 2nd. And then you have to see, like, it was the D show with SmackDown on there because Raw got to do Hall of Fame. So, but my thing is, it was just Monday Night Raw doing Raw, just like SmackDown doing SmackDown, and it's just doing Raw Talk and their shows and podcasts, and the bump and all that. But Raw got to do Hell in a Cell. But I think they're gonna put Raw and SmackDown, both of their crews, on July 2nd at the Money in the Bank. Which, unless they're gonna do like Smacking It Down this year. Either way, like, I think that SmackDown crew should do Money in the Bank, even if it is Raw people that's there, because they got to do Hell in a Cell. So I think that's only fair that SmackDown gets to run Money in the Bank, whether it's a Raw or a SmackDown match. Otherwise, if it's Raw and SmackDown that do Money in the Bank, then they owe SmackDown a pay-per-view or something, you know. Anyways, speaking of Seth Rollins, the visionary, the commentator. I mean, he's the fashion. He wears classic outfits, classic dances, classic matches, classic championships. He is Universal Champion, WWE Champion, NXT Champion, Tag Team Champion, Mr. Money in the Bank, Dominator, the most dominant team, Brothers of the Shield. Seth Rollins, birthday that passed. Happy birthday to the visionary Seth freaking Rollins, burning it down for his birthday. I got a shirt of him over there. Hope you guys see that. I don't know if you can see that real well. Rollins over there. Hang on a minute. I wasn't planning on staying up or nothing and doing this, so I'll show you. Seth freaking Rollins, the WWE Champion, United States Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Universal Champion, Mr. Money in the Bank, Dominator, NXT Champion, Tag Team Champions of Monday Night Raw, Dominator of the Shield, who imploded the first time around for his opportunity. Seth freaking Rollins burning it down for his birthday. So you can see. Got a whole t-shirt. It's got other superstars, but as you can see, happy birthday to Seth Rollins that passed. Then that would bring us to Drew McIntyre. Now I don't think I have a shirt with him or anything. I think he's on my wrestling cups or anything like that. But Drew McIntyre's Mr. Claymore, WWE Champion, Royal Rumble winner. He's really stepped up the game since he's came to the WWE, back to the WWE. Drew McIntyre's happy birthday pass that came to him. Another picture I have Seth Rollins that I was talking about for his birthday. Yeah. Burning it down as visionary. Some former WWE champion. Classic uniforms and outfits and matches and all that good stuff that he's already done. Now, I don't have anything. I guess this blue would define the Claymore for Drew McIntyre in that past match. Now, it's going to be the phenomenal AJ Styles. Have a phenomenal day to him as his birthday passed. And as you can see, the phenomenal AJ Styles birthday that passed. Former WWE champion. Former tag team champions. Dominant team. That's the guy who had an autograph with him when I got to meet and greet him. Got to meet and greet him when I got his autograph when he was down here for a SmackDown event that we saw. And as you guys seen, I know y'all seen on Instagram. Show you a picture on Instagram that I was talking about. That's on my story and on my page and everything. That you guys have seen the picture when I got to meet the phenomenal AJ Styles. That I was going in to pay my phone bill, and I didn't know that he was actually down there. Like I went to smack like these kids that we met in line. We started talking to get to know him like it was the year that I couldn't afford it. And we started talking to these two guys that was in line. They did a dance competition, won a SmackDown ticket, so I got to see. That's why I got to sit close and I got to see Carmella there. And that's when I got that autograph and picture with AJ Styles. I was like, I'm going in to pay a phone bill, and then this whole big old line was there, and like this woman talking on the bike was there. So I was like, oh, AJ Styles here, let's get in line. And then I got an autograph from AJ Styles. I got to go to Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling. That you see the pictures on my Instagram and on YouTube. I think I was 16. I think I was 16 years old. And I put that on there. Yeah, see my face, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. Then, as you guys know, from the rookie, from Ruthless Aggressive, to Dr. Thugonomics, WWE Champion, United States Champion, Tag Team Champion, 16-time World Heavyweight Champion as well, 16-time WWE Champion, hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up, 16-time WWE Champion, you can't see me, Big Match John. It is the celebration month, 20 years since John Cena debuted in the WWE. Now he's, all over talk shows and WWE wrestling, and he's all over interviews, and got his own said cocktail business running, actors. So see who got me started into wrestling in the first place. My favorite superstar of all time. Got me even interested into wrestling in the first place. By clones like Cena. And I got a Royal Rumble winner back in 2008. Royal Rumble winner. Currently, had an injured neck, became World Heavyweight Champion. This one I kind of drew on because I try to make him into like a Brock Lesnar versus Cena. As you know, the rival between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. So I try to make that happen. And then the greatest rival in my mug, I got a Randy Orton up here too, but it's kind of complicated to get to him, is between Randy Orton and John Cena. There's four rivals that Cena, or you could add 5. You could add AJ Styles versus John Cena and the Bullet Club, or you could do, which John Cena did get the best over the Bullet Club and AJ Styles eventually, much like John Cena eventually got through over the years since they've been collaborating against each other, rival against Brock Lesnar. The Undertaker is a phenom, he's a one-of-a-kind, so John Cena just had to get that over him up. Roman Reigns really proved himself to John Cena that he's just as worthy as him in the WWE. And Randy Orton and John Cena are just two classic, legendary superstars that I'm pretty sure, like, if you ask a whole bunch of fans, like, who's your favorite WWE superstar, most of them would say Randy Orton and John Cena. As you can see, I got a bunch of stuff of John Cena. I don't know if you can see John Cena pin here. Got that off my birthday cake when I got John Cena's face on my cake for my birthday. It's one of the years that John Cena and Randy Orton. As you can see, you might not be able to tell by the faces, but John Cena and Randy Orton, and that's the rival. And as you can see like in this one, it was a little bit like not Thugonomics. It was like you can't see me. You saw like John Cena and the rated R superstar Edge, a rival, and then John Cena and Randy Orton, who everybody's favorite superstar is, a rival, and then him and AJ Styles with the blow thumb and all that. When he first came in against Kurt Angle for Ruthless Aggressive, coming off the rookie, trying to get everybody to see that he is more than just a push off. And the great one that was once in a lifetime. That he was like, hey, you know what? I gotta prove myself against The Rock, his rival, at WrestleMania. Him and Randy when I quit. And AJ Styles at Money in the Bank. He also had one with Bobby Lashley on there for the United States Championship opportunity. But he says that that's their favorite for him and Ryback for the betrayal. And they're supposed to be on the same team, and he just totally let him get destroyed by the Shield. Then you all see like how Michael Cole and JBL, who's actually in the ring with him, Michael Cole has been assaulted by him because he'd be an ass. Give all the props over the years to him, and Jerry King Lawrence, who a little bit older superstar but knows, I'd say a little bit better, who's been there and seen it all. And he is up on that shirt up there. And then, him and the Big Show was just like, whoa, someone's bigger than me, but I got the muscles and the strength to get through them, no matter how big you are. So that was like how Cena, got Big Match John when John Cena goes through the Big Show and Mark Henry and the Great Khali. That's why he's Big Match John. That's why he's Hustle Lloyd Street, never give up, 16-time champ when he went to the rival over the years and was able to accomplish over Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. Over for Randy Orton, they went Hell in a Cell, I Quit match, the ALC match, WWE Championship match, Triple Threat, SummerSlam. And most people say my favorite Hall of Famer, legendary WWE superstar, is John Cena or Randy Orton. Now, I don't think they're in the Hall of Fame yet, but they should, and it's coming soon. But legendary, anyways, because they've been in there for 20 years, both of them now. That John Cena and Randy Orton, 20 years in the WWE, that they would say that. And it is. And it's like, well, once in a lifetime, you've seen the most electrified man in sports entertainment, The Rock, before like John Cena became the face of the company. So John Cena was kind of like, there was somebody before me. I got to show him I can beat him too. And The Rock's like, well, I'm the most electrified man in sports entertainment. And I was here first, just remember that. And then Cena's like, well, no, I'm here. I'm the new face of the company. I could do just as much as you, just as good as you can. And they had that night that was, it was classic. It was amazing. And legendary like The Rock, and then the current superstar John Cena in the space. It was just awesome to watch that and see that, it's like, whoa, what am I seeing? What am I watching? And it went both ways too. So it was good. And then, like I said, with Randy Orton, you see him Hell in a Cell, TLC, W Championship, SummerSlam, all these different rivals with both of them, that they are the two greatest, one of the two greatest superstars like in today's generation. Besides, if you want to look at the classic like The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then see him accomplish like Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar, if you look back, he's beaten John Cena way more than Cena's gotten over him. So the fact that he's like, hey, I can finally get you, and he did Extreme Rules, and that was something that he had to accomplish, that he's like, this is just one guy I can't get through, and he finally did, and showed that, and it really showed you that, hey, he really is who he says he is. He really is this dominant superstar that has all the heart in wrestling, that it's his home, like he says, and he's willing to do anything and everything to get the job done. And then you bring back Triple H. Well, from the DS, and him and John Cena had a couple of rivals that had a couple tag team ships and against each other too. The Game and the King of the Ring, and him going at it. And then at Money in the Bank with him and AJ Styles and the Bullet Club and all that. And then on Raw with the attacks and all that stuff. So then you bring to the Authority with Seth Rollins for the United States Championship belt, and him going out for that Pacific title. Got a broken nose, but still remained United States Champion against Seth Rollins. And then him and Daniel Bryan was just because I think he has a lot of respect for Daniel Bryan. Even though he's like, I gotta act tough, I gotta say these things because I gotta believe that I'm the best. You have to believe you're the best if you want to get the job done. And for Daniel Bryan to be like, you know what, I could. That's why I have the whole entire universe saying yes and chanting me as the GOAT face, as the yes man, as the WWE champion, world heavyweight champion, WWE champion, because and I think he was the United States champion too, and Intercontinental champion, because they're just like you, and it's kind of like I'm here too. I can do things that you can do, and he respected him at the SummerSlam match, and he got a black eye, and his arm, elbow was the size of a baseball bat. Got it done, and got his respect, and that's what mattered at the end of the day. And him and Bobby Lashley, they fought for the United States Championship belt like a while ago, like it was a long time ago before he even did the rival with, as people know, John Cena versus Triple H, John Cena versus Mark Henry, John Cena versus Big Show, John Cena versus Randy Orton, John Cena versus Ryback, and that will make him has the loyalty to respect, never give up 16-time champ. That's what made him 16-time champ. That's what made him never good. That's what made him you can't CB and Big Match John and made him the face of the company. And then you have him like against The Rock. That's what made him towards the Hall of Fame and legendary. Have a spot for him in the Hall of Fame too. And then people like Hall of Fame like JBL, Booker T, who when they were younger been in the ring with John Cena, who was on commentary, knows him better than anybody because they were in the ring with him. They know what he's capable of. And just like Jerry King Lawrence always said great things about him over the years, he knows that you never give up on him because he won't give up on you. So that's why John Cena is that guy that I looked up to growing up and I still look up to today, and that he is that guy that got me interested and into wrestling in the first place. And then Sasha Banks was just that woman that showed me there is an actual opportunity for you to actually do it as an African American woman, that you can get it done. If you want it, you can do it. And that, Randy Orton's kind of like, there are opportunities out here. You just got to be smooth about it if you want to get the job done. So that are my favorite superstars. And then Bianca Belair, she's just impressive. She's just so amazing. I love watching her when she was in the NXT, and I love how she brings that out. Shows everybody that I'm not just a pushover. I'm gonna get the job done. I'm here just like you. I got something that I'm here for, just like you. Everybody's here for a reason. Everybody's here for a purpose. And then she's like, I'm the EST, and it's not just a saying. I'm gonna show you why I call myself this. Why people acknowledge me as this, because I am what I say I am. So she's just a strong, impactful female superstar I like, because it's good to have people like Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, African American woman. And the reason why I say that is because I'm an African American woman, so I gotta wake up in society and be like, is there really a place for me to do it? And Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair could be African American woman and do it. And I look at them, look at myself, I'm like, I'm not that tall. I'm average, like Sasha Banks. She's not that tall. She's average. Bianca Belair is she's way muscular, way taller, but it's the fact that they're both African American women shows me an African American woman that there is a place for you in WWE. If you want it, you go out there and show you the best accolades and that out there in that ring, no matter what it takes, and you can get it done. So they show me how they're really an inspiration. That's why I love Sasha Banks and I love Bianca Belair in the ring. That's why they are my favorite superstars in SmackDown and on Raw, and since they've been in the NXT, because they do show me that, hey, this is something that I want to do. And I was just wondering, like, you gotta wake up in society and be like, I'm not that small, I'm average, I'm medium size, I'm an African American woman. Am I overthinking it? And then you see them and you're like, I'm not overthinking it. There is a spot. If you want it, go out there and get it done, and you'll have that opportunity to get it done. Because if they did, why can't I? Because they look, like me, African American. They look like me, female. They, not like the tallest person, 6 foot there. Yeah, and they get it done. And I see different athletics and strengths from both. I'm like, what's my strategy? What's my strength based on it? I can combine it, and it makes me medium size. And then how I got John Cena. I'm like, he got me interested in it in the first place because I didn't even know what it was until I seen him on. I was like flipping through channels and I seen it. I was like, what's this? And I started interested in watching it. And he was the first one that I saw. He was the first one that like when you're like, I'm bored, and then you see something you're like, what the hell is this? What's that? And then I started acting out the moves and getting to know their names and getting to know who they are and their music and all that other stuff and their strategy and stuff. So I knew what to expect. And then I started doing all that too. And then, jumping off couches, working out, trying to get myself. I've been in athletic sports, trying to get myself in shape and trying to be able to handle like hits and punches and stuff and all that other stuff and know exactly what needs to be done. And then Randy Orton, like John Cena is a guy that I watched that's showing me how to, after all this athleticism I've been over the years, how to be strong. And then Randy Orton is someone that shows me how to be quick. And then Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are someone that show me that it's possible to have the opportunity if you want it. So it's a really great thing to have and do. And I went a little bit overboard with this one because we had so much to cover, and then I just had to get that off my chest and make sure I get to the point and make sure I let everybody know, hey, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. As always, all right, I'm gonna jump off here now though. As always, yours truly, Queen Krazy K. Be sure to subscribe for this and more podcasts like it. Really appreciate for you who are gonna watch this, who are gonna listen, and we would appreciate more if you subscribe. It's totally free. Be supportive, and also follow me on that Instagram, which also be supportive, and lovely Queen Krazy K. I'm gonna get off here for today. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and also be sure to get your tickets to Money in the Bank. Join me in Lincoln when we go to wrestling. Be sure after June 20th when I go to Raw versus SmackDown to watch the week after, because John Cena will be returning for his 20-year anniversary on Monday Night Raw. And on July 2nd, then it'll be the Money in the Bank. So a lot, boom, 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 going on. So now I cover everything. And also, here coming up, one last thing before I get out of here. Watch, not a big fan, but, Sonya Deville, no longer a manager, a WWE superstar on Raw. She will be on the bump today at noon, 1 Easter. But besides that, Sonya Deville gonna be on there. Like, it's interesting to see what she's gonna say because we already know what happened. We already know what went on. We already know as far as the match and as far as being like, you were a conniving, evil manager and you got what you deserve as a WWE superstar. So it's interesting to see as a WWE superstar, no longer a manager, what she's gonna say on the bump with Kayla and them. And then Tamaska, a former NXT champion, and has been just attacking everybody on Raw, which I don't know if he has something against that specific person or it's just, him just in general that's just like, I'm going to keep doing it until I get an opportunity. So it's really interesting to watch that and to see that. And I'm running out of a lot of time, so I keep looking at my clock because I wanted to get a lot of things off chest. Anyways, subscribe to my channel, Queen Krazy K. Follow me on my Instagram, Queen Krazy K. Join me back here for my next podcast. I will cover Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling, any Friday Night Smacking It Down talk. I will cover SmackDown, Smacking It Down talk, WWE exclusive, anything interesting that I know and find out, and all that good stuff. Oh, and also, good thing is, since we're talking about injuries, and we're talking about fractures and things like that, it's good to know that Biggie Langston no longer has to wear a neck brace. So that could mean he's working out and could soon be back in the ring on SmackDown with the New Day. And also, on top of that, you had congratulations to Charlotte Flair getting married with Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio, Apollo Crews, And of course, her dad, Ric Flair, Finn Balor, was all there to support Charlotte Flair. Congratulations to her getting married. And Ric Flair, last final match, sold out within an hour. So it's good to see the Nature Man do one last final match before he has to hang up the boots. Sold out in less than an hour because it is epic. And then, on top of that, Charlotte, his daughter, getting married, so it only gives him more confidence. Like, hey, everything's complete now. Let me show you that I still got it. And then Biggie Langston, when we see the New Day, throwing cereal or pancakes around, dancing or winning champions belt, it's just good to feel that positivity, that fun and joy, because wrestling is about domination, but you gotta have fun with it too. You can't just be always stuck up either. So it's good to see that, good to enjoy that, good to feel that, and be a part of that when you watch it or you're actually there. Like I got to meet the New Day after SmackDown Live show. After it was over, they stood there and taking pictures and high five everybody. I was up here a little bit, like I wasn't on the floor, but I was a little bit up here, and they was shaking everybody's hand, like staying out there for a while. So we got to go down there and hit their hands and be in their presence and be like, oh, okay, we got to be a part of that. So that was really cool to be able to do that. And also, speaking of Apollo Crews, if you saw him returning back to the NXT, if you're interested into that, like I said, my next podcast will be Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling. I will cover what happened. I will cover the results of Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling. I will cover the WWE exclusive, anything that was said on Friday Night SmackDown Wrestling. I will cover the things out there, Smacking It Down talk, and I will cover anything like injury updates or any back thing news or any of that. And I'll also cover the Saturday Live Wrestling show that's coming up as well, and all that good stuff. And then my predictions for Monday Night Raw Wrestling. I will cover all that in my next podcast. I will show it on Instagram too, like I always do. So subscribe to my channel to be able to watch it. Follow me on Instagram to be able to see when it's gonna be and when it represents. And Queen Krazy K is out for today, so don't miss it.